is the story of the Warren, Jackson, and Bailey legacy, a history that dates as far back as 1618 when Africans were captured from different parts of the continent of Africa and brought to America against their will. The Warren, Jackson, and Bailey heritage was birthed out of the dark history of slavery. Our ancestors were forced to leave the comfort and riches of their motherland by white European slave owners and their government's acceptance of slavery. It is important that we know our history so that we master our future, never allowing this dark history to ever be repeated. No human being should ever be forced to become the property of another human being. Our history began with Father Senator Warren from Tennessee, who was a slave. On April 12th of 1861, after the Civil War, Senator Warren became a free man. At the tender age of 14, he began to have children. During the age of slavery, black men were used to breed children in order to work the fields, making the slave owners wealthy. Historically, slave owners were often branded by the last names of their slave owners. Father Senator Warren's slave owner's name was Perry Warren, which is where he got his last name. Most African Americans carried their previous slave masters' last names. While living in the state of Tennessee, Father Senator Warren fathered somewhere between 50 to 75 children between two wives named Cherry and Catherine. He also fathered children by another woman whose name was Lucy Warren. He was not married to her, but she shared the same last name, Warren, from another slave owner. It would not be uncommon if Perry Warren was related to the owner of Lucy Warren's family. On May 18, 1861, 2 years after becoming a free man, he had one son, James Benny Warren, by Cherry. Approximately 2 months later, on July 15, 1861, he had another son by Lucy Warren. Both of their sons became preachers and lived throughout their lives as dedicated men of faith. From these marriages and women, there were many offspring. There was Jacob, Isaac, Daniel, Will, Senator Warren Jr., Mary, Nellie, Robert, just to name a few. So the Warren family is where all of us originated and where the largest number of offspring existed. Now, where did the name Jackson come from? Well, Will Warren, one of Senator Warren's 75 children, married Kizzy Taylor in the state of Mississippi. When he passed away, she moved to Arkansas, then met and married William Scott Jackson, her second husband. It is from this union that the Jacksons originated. William Scott Jackson and Kizzy's oldest child's name was Fannie Jackson. This child, Fannie Jackson, later married Robert Warren, another one of Father Senator Warren's sons. Fannie Jackson and Robert Warren had 9 children, 8 girls and 1 boy. Some of their names were Stokes, Kizzy Ann, Dovey, Carrie, and Mamie. For some of you, these are your great-grandmothers and father, and others your great-great-grandmothers. Therefore, the Jacksons came into existence through the union of a Warren. In 1911, Fannie Jackson gave birth to a daughter named Mamie. It was Mamie who married Lee Bailey. Lee Bailey was born on December 10, 1883. At the time of birth, he was given the birth name Bill Bailey. Lee Bailey married twice and was the father of 22 boys and 6 girls. His children were Leroy, Clarence, Robert, James, Nathaniel, Fannie, Leila Mae, Henry, Thomas, Leila Kelly, and about 18 others. The Baileys were notorious for standing up for justice. If someone tried to harm anyone in their family, they were ready to fight and even willing to die protecting one another. When Lee Bailey was 18 years old, a white man brutally attacked his sister. Lee Bailey killed the man who attacked his sister. He then fled to Memphis, Tennessee because the mob crowd, better known as the Ku Klux Klan, was out to lynch him. It was then that he changed his name from Bill to Lee Bailey. It was always the Bailey clan against the Ku Klux Klan. Not only was Lee a fighter, but he was also known to have a heart of gold. He was always looking for a way to support those who were down and out, even if it meant giving the shirt off of his very back. Lee Bailey's father's name was Duncan Bailey, and he was born in Mississippi. He worked in a coal mine and was also a preacher. While reading the Bible to prepare for his Sunday sermon, Duncan Bailey was murdered in his home in Birmingham, Alabama. It has been said that a white man paid his cousin, Lee Bailey's cousin, $25 to kill Duncan Bailey by hitting him in the head with a brick and fracturing his skull. Our early history was one that was filled with many challenges, suffering, and strife. But just like the phoenix that rises from the ash, the struggle of a difficult past became the cause for the emergence of greatness, a legacy of giants for humanity.